Hi, I'm Heidi Fleming, and I have been thinking about, as I go through the grief healing process, some triggers. And tomorrow I'm going to confront one of my biggest triggers. I've put it off for over a year, and that is I am going to go from the East Coast of Florida to the West Coast of Florida. And the reason this is such a big trigger for me is because this is how Dennis and I would go back and forth to his hospital. And so we would do multiple trips. Sometimes in a week, we would go a couple times during the week. And it's not about the route of take that we take to the West Coast. It's about the memories along the route. So we were in the car for 1.5 to 2.5 hours together, back and forth each way. And we did a lot of talking. And a lot of those talks were very deep because what we went through was a very serious situation. So it's not about the route itself, it's about what happened along the route. And that's just a trigger that I understand. I have to go through it to get through it. So my plan is tomorrow I am going to do it. Now, when I think about some of my triggers, it does give me a nauseous feeling in my stomach. And for those of you who are going through this, you probably understand what I'm saying. Um, and so I know that it's to my heart and to my mind, it is physically difficult to do this. As I think about this journey that I'm going to take tomorrow, it made me think of something that I wrote about a year ago, and I called it The Apprentice. The number one is a beginning, Genesis, a beginning, Alpha, beginning, widowhood, called to begin a new life, an apprentice. How do I learn to live as one after 40 years of living as two are one? Isaiah 54:5 says, "For your maker is your husband. The Lord Almighty is his name." As an apprentice, I learn from God. I lean on God. My hope is in God. The pain is so deep it makes my body cry. The loss is so great it causes pressure in my chest. Tears, pain, sadness, questions. As an apprentice, I give them to you, God. Thank you for your faithfulness. My hope is in you. And just as you've heard me say before, as I go through this, I lean on God a lot. And as we work in grieving, and I use that word work intentionally because that's what it is work that I have to go through to build a strong foundation for me to move forward. You know, some of the other triggers that I've been working on, one is exercise, because Dennis and I did that together so much. You know, we spent so much time exercising together. And at the end, we would take walks. And during those walks, again, there was a lot of talking and dreaming. And that's what I miss about the walk, because I can go out and do the walk, but I don't have him there for the talk. And that made so much of that journey, that walk was so pleasant because of who I was spending it with. And another trigger that I have is eating. It's actually cooking. I eat fine. I just don't cook like we used to because he and I both enjoyed cooking. So we would cook fresh fruits, vegetables, and fish. And um, Friday nights we would make pizza. But he and I would do that together, and we did that for many years. So now cooking is very difficult for me to do. I do a little bit of it, but not like I used to. And again, it's a trigger. It's the memories. It's not that the cooking is hard. It's the memories that are tied to the cooking that makes it difficult. So I read this the other day, and I think it's very apropos. The answer to pain is in the pain. And I think about that and I understand that. So for tomorrow, a trigger for me is taking the drive from the East Coast to the West Coast of Florida. And the answer to pain is in the pain, that I have to do it to do it, to get through it, to make that step. I have to do something that's very uncomfortable. So I hope that this week, as you go through your journey, that you do something new, something for the first time for yourself to help you move forward. And whatever that is, I mean, I remember in the very beginning, I took a shower, and that was a big deal. That was a big step forward. I slept in our bedroom. I ate a meal. And those are all steps that helped me move forward. And tomorrow's another one. So I hope that this helps you. I know it's a very difficult journey. And however you can best get through it, it is work. It is work. Find someone that you can talk to, because really talking about it, I think it's good for us to talk about it, but it's also good for others to hear about it, because we don't talk a lot about grieving. We really don't share our deepest thoughts about how painful it is. And the reason we don't, I think, is because it's so painful. It's hard for me to sit here with my friends and talk about how difficult this is, because it's difficult on them too, listening to it. And so talking about it helps. Writing about it may help you. Some people like to draw, just doing drawings of how you feel. And this is just for you. You don't have to share it with anyone else. And just see if that's helpful to you. And so I hope that you do something new this week to help you move forward on this path.